Don't turn your channels. I know it's scary, but we were lucky enough to get some wonderful pumpkins carved here at Texas Motor Speedway. Take a look at these.
Somebody's got some talent.
They have a lot of talent.
Mad skills on the pumpkins, because mine never looked like that.
No. Under the lights from Texas Motor Speedway, this race has been slowed twice already in the first 16 laps. The first wreck happening just after they completed lap number 1. And then our second caution coming out on lap 16. Truck or treat? We hope that your Halloween has gone well up to this point. It has been disappointing for quite a few. Adam Alexander, what's going on with our point leader?
I would say they are not disappointed in the early going. They've dodged some bullets, something any point leader likes to do early on in an event, and they've made some ground up. Went from 20th to just outside the top 10, and I think they feel good about this race truck. It's one they have confidence in, a couple of wins in it earlier this season, so JB doing exactly what he needs to do, closing in on this title. Ray?
And Adam, we talked at the top of the show about the fire in Billy Ballew's truck on the way to this racetrack. Believe it or not, there were 2 trucks in the hauler, and the one that Kyle Busch is driving tonight, one of those, it didn't sustain very much damage, and the guys worked on it all night to get it cleaned up before practice. But guess what? Kyle Busch has said he is wide open all the way around the Texas Motor Speedway, and he said that thing is turning like a gem. So that's bad news for the rest of the competition. A very, very happy Rowdy Busch.
Guys, I want to talk about Paul Tracy. Remember, he was my spotlight driver. He started all the way back in 22nd position, already up into the top 10, running 10th. First time ever in a truck, Michael.
Wow. He knows you're supposed to run around here wide open. That's what he did in his Indy car. So when they said go, he just went.
Well, and again, people will hear that and say, well, how can these guys go wide open? There's a tapered spacer on these engines, and it's been that way since the very first race of the season. So they are limited just a bit on horsepower.
But still, it's a job. You take one of these trucks and wrestle it around this mile-and-a-half track wide open. And some bad news for Rowdy Busch. He talked about how good his truck was turning, Rick. He said how good it felt. Ron Hornaday was faster than him. So when you're wide open and you like your truck and someone's faster than you, that'll make you scratch your head.
Probably not a good sign. But right now it's Travis Kvapil running second, and Ron Hornaday is third as they go down the backstretch.
Remember, we had a side-by-side battle for second when that caution came out between Travis Kvapil and Ron Hornaday. Travis Kvapil obviously had the edge. Here's Paul Tracy on the outside. Johnny Benson going to try to take that spot from Paul Tracy. Johnny moves up into the top 10.
Now, is that a nervous feeling to be running next to a guy who's never run in a truck race and you're the point leader?
Well, you know, you certainly notice it. You know that that guy doesn't have a lot of experience in one of these type of vehicles. You trust that Paul Tracy's a darn good race car driver. You know that. But anytime you're new to something, look at Max Pappas.
Right.
He's won races all over the world. He's new to a truck. He didn't make it very far. So Johnny's got to keep that in mind. He's down on the inside of Tracy as they go into turn 3.
And really squeezing him down there. At this stage of the game, Johnny's probably a little bit nervous running around anybody with a point lead at stake.
Well, he missed 2 wrecks on the first lap, so you might think his luck's, he's already challenged his fate a little bit.
Chad McCumbee in that 8, moving up on the inside of Paul Tracy. Again, Paul Tracy in the number 9. Chad McCumbee in the 8. They run side by side on the racetrack. That's a battle for the 11th position now.
Yeah, a bunch of trucks behind this side-by-side battle. There's the 10 of Brendan Gaughan right behind them. Brendan had a pretty relatively poor qualifying effort. Brendan qualified back in the 21st position, and he's knocking on the door of the top 10.
And look at Todd Bodine. He's already been a lap down once in this race, been in a crash, and now he's trying to get in the top 10. So these guys are making some big moves early.
Terry Cook also going to try to move his way up towards the top 10. Remember, Terry made a pit stop back on lap number 9. There's Todd's Toyota on board, and Todd's truck owner, Steve Germain, his daughter Jessica found out today that she passed the bar.
Wow.
So that's great news for the Germain family. Congratulations to Jessica.
Yep.
Tonight's just a little icing on the cake because that made that family's day today.
Sure did.
And Todd Bodine continues to run side by side with Matt Craftsman. Here's another side by side battle. Rick Crawford battling back from his damage early, but there's also damage on that 5, Michael.
Yeah, that was that incident on the backstretch. Remember, Michael, and when Max Pappas got into the outside wall, Mike Skinner and everybody was trying to seize up a little bit, and Mike got just a little bit of damage, but it did not even call for a pit stop.
Yeah, and another truck that had some damage is that truck that was beside him. Rick Crawford was in that first crash. He's rebounded nicely. Ron Hornaday, though, he drives around Travis Kvapil. He's up to second, and this truck is faster than our leader, Kyle Busch. So look for a challenge for the lead before a lap or two passes.
That looked like the situation there. Travis Kvapil realized Ron Hornaday's running faster, moved up the track a bit. Ron Hornaday went by. Now Hornaday is trying to reel in that 51. Take a look at the battle here for fourth as Colin Brown takes the position away from that 18 of Dennis Setzer.
Colin Brown, a very, very talented young driver. Great qualifier. Just really put some good finishes together. They've had a lot of bad luck with that Conway Ford, but Colin Brown is fast when he's out there, Mikey.
Yeah, he's got a good truck tonight, already up to the 4th spot. He knows that it's only going to get harder and harder as he trudges toward the front, though. You got Kyle Busch and Ron Hornaday leading. That's a day's worth of work right there to get those two.
Adam Alexander, I know Dennis Setzer's running up in the top 5. How's he feeling?
And he's a guy that has experienced a win in his past here at the Texas Motor Speedway, but practice yesterday, not exactly what they were hoping for. They made a number of changes. Solid qualifying run earlier this evening. Dennis rolling off in the 11th position, and they've made the most of it early tonight. So Setzer looking for another top 5, and I think feeling decent about what they've got in the early stages.
Adam, that guy running behind him, that 22 of Scott Speed, has had a great run thus far too. He was one of the fastest trucks on his average speed during happy hour. They were very optimistic. Talked to Doug Wilcott, his crew chief. They've already won this year, you know, at Dover. He said, I'm telling you, he's such a quick study. Scott is really doing a great job right now running up in the 6th spot, Ray.
And he said he's tight in the middle, Phil, and just as Doug Wilcott was about to say how tight, he said stand by. I'll call it a 5.5. So not too bad. I don't think it's terrible tight, but just giving some information back to his crew chief. A little bit hard to turn the truck in the center. Adam?
12 laps ago under caution, Travis Kvapil, who is riding 3rd and was running 2nd at the time, said the truck was perfect. Then Ron Hornaday came lurking on his back door. The pass was made by driver 33. Kvapil came back, said, I am loose. Expect a chassis adjustment when the 09 makes their first trip down pit road, and I would expect that will happen the next time the caution flag waves.
Well, we don't want to see another caution here on Halloween night from Texas Motor Speedway. The points race is heating up where they're running on the track. 1 point separate Johnny Benson and Ron Hornaday.